Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-court mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging chops without Moroccan shields, industry demonic for reversing spokes and soccer wheels, coffin fields empty, buried in the battlefields, working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields. King Alfred Gruesome, lover mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing, minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing, don't even have a job but they get you for tax evasion, hot like a frying pan, crying fam, lying men, use gadgets, firing men, no loyalty, just buying friends, no credit, debt slaves, walking over paved graves, enslaved, enraged, marriage to death, prearranged, Mike Sufi Genie, farm tracks bikini, stupid niggas call my fez bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring. But when the Pope comes, they kissing on his ring. They rather drink a rapper's flow from the Black Fountain. Piper got the dead lined up in the thousands. Confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery. Won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me. No deal. Push the red button, I'm going home. Close my eyes, meet Yasanel in Vendome. The fire that we put on Rome, make their walls shake. Islamism, grand chic, not spelled like shake. Open minds, not scarred on when you enter my zone. I wouldn't call it murder when I snap the neck of my clone. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Peter's face the Tartar, no making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger, aura is my armor. When I plant a seed in man's soil, rhyme farmer. Use the alma rap sorta like an almanac. Keep listening to sleepless hip-hop insomniac. Moorish MC, call me that acquiesce, don't fall back, just fall back. Any rapper after 95, all whack. Their flow just trickles like drops on icicles. Rappers need training wheels on their rhymesicles. Keep people's mind pickled in a lost realm. When it comes to Moorish MCs, I'm at the helm. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Peter's face the Tartar, no making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger, aura is my armor, aura is my armor, aura is my armor. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Peter's face the Tartar, no making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger, aura is my armor, aura is my armor, aura is my armor, aura is my armor. Invasion.
Yo, sluts can't fuck with a Cujo. Yo, sluts can't fuck with a Cujo.
Rabies dog spitting flow, it's the more MC. No status rappers need to recognize Allah sent me to rep the prophet on beats, not Muhammad or Buddha. Verbal hashish when I flow, watch headphone hookah. Whatever you think you started, it's about to end. Scimitar bass swing at your head and your lady friend. I watch no face, I don't care what you hear or heard. You won't see what I see with third eyes blurred. Hip-hop nerd at night, I read till my eyes bleed. I affirm you bleed. I got titles, you want these, I got nationality. You want ECCs and PPSA for freedom. You can't freedom with hearsay. When I spit, call me pepper spray, verbal graph artist. Blacks always shot upon yourself, the color of target. Systems crashing, I noticed that they closed all the targets. Blacks were slaves, they trying to start crashing the markets. Who? What?
Yo, sluts can't fuck with a Cujo.
Who? What?
Yo, sluts can't fuck with a Cujo.
RAPPERSTODAY. Talk with tongues forked and dressed like party guys. I'm different and will not be compared to them. Every you claims to have guns, but I'm not scared of them. We walking on their blocks, won't mess with muzzle locks. Especially after I use law and back down those cops, kidnapping them and giving Billy Club shots and slapping. Sniffing stolen coke off the dash in their paddy wagon, reaching north of office between bars like a chorus. All they want is black man fam at the forest. I'm going at our principles and subordinates. Moorish MC, don't care for statues and ordinance. Feathers make magistrates sit up when we step in. If I plead, it's sex relation under fraud and misrepping. Standing on squares like Tekken. You call obelisk, leave whack rappers drumming in cornfields like cotton fists. What?
Those pups can't fuck with a Cujo.
Who?
Cujo.
I'm bucking at the Antichrist. I'm bucking at the Antichrist. I'm bucking at the Antichrist. So why's the rappers ducking? Impropria persona is the status I'm stuck in. If you get with this, they won't treat you like black sheep. The choice is yours, whether you want to stay awake or stay asleep. A lot of rappers for a check, keep it shallow, I stay deep. When pigs kidnap blue pill, I didn't hear a peep. From kill, crack, and Negroes, I notice your state of matter is soft like porridge. So what you say, it don't really matter. We'll call you imam, looking like Abdullah the butcher. Tenderizing the halal pork chops and pressure cookers. Speculative, never acting through phone cameras. You lookers have no balls like at the end of a game of snooker. Punks like saying you're Jew when you're really a German. Punks calling ancestors black when they're wearing a turban. Punks punch with lines with their benign rhymes. I just tell Orishas of your sins and watch comic fan climb.
Yo, pups can't fuck with a Cujo. Yo, pups can't fuck with a Cujo. Yo, pups can't fuck with a Cujo. Yo, pups can't fuck with a Cujo.
The street is my world. I don't pretend to go uptown and be anything fancy. I can, but I find more real in the world that I'm in than I do the tinsel. And the real world is the one I have to deal with every day, you know. Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Let the bass kick.
Playtime been over since y'all dropped the ball. Bound to the continent, there's no asylum for y'all. Pushing the black Asiatic game with Ford L and Pool Bay. Before NOI, I rep draw L all day. How many fakes proclaim to be the reincarnation and claim to be the true head of the Moorish nation? No mention of Mealy Ill, but I read his letters. Dirty Moors mad cause they thought they dead as letters. Many were there when decisions were handed down. Now they claim that Mealy Ill was not ordained.
The street is my world. I don't pretend to go uptown and be anything fancy. I can, but I find more real in the world that I'm in than I do the tinsel. And the real world is the one I have to deal with every day, you know. Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Let the bass kick.
Playtime been over since y'all dropped the ball. Bound to the continent, there's no asylum for y'all. Pushing the black Asiatic game with Ford L and Pool Bay. Before NOI, I rep draw L all day. How many fakes proclaim to be the reincarnation and claim to be the true head of the Moorish nation? No mention of Mealy Ill, but I read his letters. Dirty Moors mad cause they thought they dead as letters. Many were there when decisions were handed down. Now they claim that Mealy Ill was not ordained, not commissioned, not called or appointed. With divine plans for ages, but Dirty Moors making changes. Working with FBI during infiltrations. In a pheasant alleys giving bogey smoke inhalations. And secret wars were made, heads are made in public mentions. Don't believe, get the minutes of the first convention. Kirkman and Lomax Bay got called out as villains against the prophet's order and L. Called Gibbons. Thousands of Moorish Americans follow those leaders that killed the prophet and made Moors parrots not readers. They don't study, brains hollow. To crush the truth, plant dissension in the ones that follow. robbed the treasury, felt like they hit the lotto. Took advantage of the faithful Moors in their times of sorrow. Moments still critical, 100 years later, the message. Stick to the principles in your actions, be progressive. Don't sell your soul for a title, take your membership role. Watch out for grand cheeks pushing you in a censorship hole. The sellout was great, now they comfy and won't get the hell out. Active Moors come around, they get clumsy. Not humbly, but act grumpy and jumpy. Active Moors see them touchy and think it's lovely. With faces ugly, I push back so don't shove me. If not for love, it would be just as dirty Moors get from me. Hitting all reincarnates and writs of discovery and demanding the treasury, recovery, and law for money. Wearing affairs don't make you a Moorish adept. Dirty Moorish heads are Boy Scouts and cadets. Working for FBI inspectors, slaves for gadgets. Claiming they got pulled, but they really dead magnets. Running a fraud that's done cause new Moors are here. One for all for one profit like musketeers. Bay, not Tampa or Buccaneers. I strike nerves like harp on strings on those puppeteers. Pushing misconceptions as teachings and calling it facts. Swinging my scimitar tongue, not a fireman's axe. Quick to call me out as dirty, say I violate acts. If you don't nationalize, know that I annihilate blacks. Nail them through their palms and incepts on beams of wood. Burn crosses on black lawns in my Moorish hood. Black Klansmen like movie from 1960s. White power, not supremacy like Clayton Bigsby. Now I run through illusions, battling my arch nemesis, misconfusion. She's been trying to keep me out of course, facing losses, calling all her negative forces. 99 years past, Drew Ali said 50 would pass, and you wouldn't know about me, or even know what I brought for you. NOI and UNIA knew about him too. Most thought that they could bury the movement, be in charge, passive and abuse it. But Drew said new Moors would come with eyes open, seeing and knowing, far from hoping. Far from belief in faith, master fruition. Study the laws of nature, activate intuition. One day our wheels of industry will stop, and when it starts again, Moors will be on top. Drew Ali blessed with latent power. Warned you, get out the way or be ground to powder. Drew Ali didn't kill you fast, but he brought you your title and estate vast. Confusion continues to confuse, no remembrance of Maghrib Al-Aqsa by Moorish descendants. Now I run through illusions, battling my arch nemesis, misconfusion. She's been trying to keep me out of course, facing losses, calling all her negative forces.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster? Gangster? Gangster?
Black power my ass, y'all just playing the ass, posing, frontin', no bustin' or dirty cop gun button. At least More's right rich, trying to do something. Pen as my weapon, feathers up and turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, sort of more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing, telling my guys recuse themselves or get sued. Civil right leaders got conscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic of people that didn't kill their sons and daughters. In Canaanland we call you bright and out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleep disorder, while most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I sweat in nervous court recorders in Admiralty, maritime shores. Moors walk on water, engines return with other cures, no sight blurred, while they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster?
Your forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and a name. You should be learning so pain could stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisitionists enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking treaties with Muslims at Oval Office entrance. Into the entrance masses, keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling blacks, acting like hostile fascists. Take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give profits, we take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Tuffy, smoking a Dutch from the same master. Bullies stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox, I'm not guessing, but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks, while you face proposing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster?
guns and use them on targets moving. Try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving. Moore's methods do work for coons disapproving. Pilot calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and wanna show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, but will wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. Acting with lethal weapons, you Mel Gibsons and Glovers. Shot in the back, I'm watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds, life smothered. She forgave him for her son's death, but listen to mother. Listen to common exercising his 5 senses. To end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching, the only thing that pickets is fences.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. 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 Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. 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 I've never heard of it.
Peace, Moors. Happy Holy Day to all the Moors, all the faithful Moors, the faithful. Honors to all the faithful Moors. Know that we're not some slouch. We're not some slouch. We're the reason why there's Moors being talked about out here in this jurisdiction. We're the reason. Anybody out here saying that they're Moors are a fraud if they don't come through me. Because you want to play government and all that stuff, I'm Grand Governor out here. And I'm Grand Chic out here. And I'm Divine Minister out here. And I'm Minister of Education and Truth. Mang. Moorish American National Government. And I'm Washita with Elim. And I'm Great Seal, Moorish Science Temple of America, Grand Chic Nature El Bay. And I'm CM Bay and Great Seal. And I'm Amir Taj Tariq Bay. Stop it. And I'm Obashango L. We're not some slouch. And we're Asir the Duke of Tears. And the Empress of 10,000 years. We didn't just get here yesterday. So people who are just making their appearance and then they just wrote one book and they think that there's somebody and all that stuff, we've been out here putting in work. Canaanland Moors, we're prophecy of Noble Drew Ali in the flesh and people's face. So we're not some slouch. We didn't just reach yesterday. We didn't just reach yesterday. And this is about some titles and all that stuff. This is about how much people's lives have you affected positively while you're existing on this earth plane. Or you're out here playing games, playing package games. You're out here playing package games? You can't be out here playing package games if there's a foundation. The foundation is Noble Drew Ali. That's the foundation. Ain't nobody doing anything before Noble Drew Ali out here for Negro, Black, colored people. No one. And anybody who's going to rep for something else before Noble Drew Ali, they're playing games. And I know they're playing games. I know.
Ali would be on and present his stuff. What does Cujo mean? Yeah, his name. This is the brother who. Let me see if I can get him on. I have no request. I want to give him an opportunity, to express himself.
Oh yeah, and just because Jesus is in here, so we could put it on the record. This is the live that him and his Arna people did, his constituents did, because I was making comments on a post that they had that they're a fraud. They didn't come in the DM or anything like that. They jumped on a live. They jumped on a live. They didn't say, let's have a convo. They jumped on a live, want to get me on a live. In the middle of the day. I'm just going to go on a live in the middle of the day. Why would I just go live in the middle of the day? Why? I don't care if you DM me because it wasn't your post. So you're irrelevant. You don't have anything to do with this. It wasn't your post. It wasn't your post. So you have nothing to do with anything. I know you DM me. I'm not talking about you. Crip Jesus. You people tried to pull me in on a live to have a conversation as if people are just sitting around doing nothing like you people. They're just sitting around doing nothing. So this is not about Crip Jesus. This has nothing to do with Crip Jesus. Honors to Crip Jesus. Watched your stuff. I see that you're working with the Moors, Rise of the Moors, to sell your book and all that stuff. So this is not something with Crip Jesus. It has nothing to do with Crip Jesus. So we'll just get that out the way so that you don't think this is something about you. I'm not the one. Well, we'll listen to the stuff, right? We'll just listen to this. And trust me, I'm fair. I let people have their say. Ask anybody who ever seen me on here for the past 10 years if I don't put the link out for anybody to get on here. Except the jerk off people from last night. That wasn't us. That wasn't our platform. That was some bot. Just in case anybody was there last night and they saw the infiltration that happened live in their face of what these people are doing, the tactics that they're going to go to try every weak mind. And they're trying strong minds too. Strong minds getting caught up. You look at strong minds like, oh, you're getting caught up. But this is not about Crip Jesus. So leave Crip Jesus alone. Crip Jesus didn't do anything to anybody. This has absolutely nothing to do with Crip Jesus. I have absolutely no issues with Crip Jesus. Never had a conversation with Crip Jesus ever. I don't need to because he's doing the work. Ain't nothing to talk about. He's like any other Moor out here that I don't know that they're doing the work. What I got to talk to them for? About what? Keep doing the good work that you're doing. This is about uplifting fallen humanity. Right? We can be on here for 20 hours. So don't worry about honoring my word and if I'm going to let you on and all this stuff. I just want you to know that this has nothing to do with you. This has to do with your boys, your constituents that's playing games. You might not know. I'm just saying they're playing games. Don't worry. I'm fair. You're going to get your chance to talk. Ask any of these Moors in the chat. I'm fair. Ain't nobody fair like me online. Right? Oh yeah, and Ali Khan Bey, who's on here too, that traitor, near Khalifa territory and all that stuff, right? You already got blocked. So I don't even know where you're going. So just get that out of the way.
Because I went on his page and he had all kind of reposts of my posts and he didn't tag me in the post and he was slandering the name of Arna and the works that we doing. And it's a lot. Oh yeah, that's oh yeah, that's.
And then there was lots of like muting going on in the beginning. But you know that's the algorithm. That wasn't them.
He wasn't even originally well. They got a. I was just, my thing is this. All right. Come on. Can you hear me now? Am I good? Can y'all hear me? I hear you good. Okay. Yeah, let me take. Okay, what about now? Am I good? Can you hear me? Peace, God. Am I froze up? Yeah, so we did a live a few days ago, and I come back to check it. I see these comments by some disgruntled brothers, slandering our works, so I wanted to give the opportunity for the brother to get on and present his stuff. What does Cujo mean? Yeah, his name. This is the brother who. Let me see if I can get him on.
Right? It's just in the middle of the day. They just want to do a live. I didn't just come here yesterday. I'm not out here. I'm not out here selling stuff. I'm not out here selling stuff. We got a building, people pay their dues and all that stuff. We got a phone number, we got a sign on it, we got a basement, we got a washroom, we got a kitchen. That's because the members of our stuff want that. So we have that. I don't get paid from being Grand Chic and all that. But who put in more work? Find me some Grand Chic out here putting more work than Canaanland Moore's Grand Chic. Stop it. Traveling all over the place. Just because Moors want to hear the word from the prophecy temple for the Moors. And all Moors who are true Moors to the cause, they know that this is the prophecy temple. They know that Noble Drew Ali wanted this to be going down. That there's Moors. And if you want to say Canada, fine. You could say Canada if you want. You want to say Toronto. You want to use all the corporate names. Doesn't matter. There's Moorish Science Temple here now. They can't say that it's not here. And they can't say that it's not the prophecy manifested in your face right now since 2008. Why wouldn't you support this? Support every other backward ass stuff out there. But you're not going to support this like all these other Moors who's been supporting this. We're still around 10 years. How much people have been around this long? Go back and check the record. The past 10 years, how many different goofballs, pedophiles, all that were teaching you people. Bought all their books and all that stuff. Didn't even support the Moors. Then you're talking about you're Aboriginal, indigenous, and you got some jurisdiction or something like that around here. No, you don't. Moors, that's what this jurisdiction is. And if you're not saying that, you're not saying anything. You're playing games.
I have no request. I want to give him an opportunity, to express himself.
No, I take my opportunity.
Because I went on his page and he had all kind of reposts of my posts and he didn't tag me in the post and he was slandering the name of Arna and the works that we doing.
Okay, so Slandering the name of Arna and the works that you're doing. Slandering Arna. I'm using your posts. I didn't tag him in it. I'm supposed to tag him in it. What am I tagging you in? I'm out here doing research because I'm a Moor. And I build with Moors. And Moors are sending me stuff to check out. Like, yo, we should, why aren't we doing this? And people are telling me Arna. Remember, I've been around since 2008. I've been around since 2008. I know that Arna been gone to court as plaintiff, and these European courts told them that they ain't jack to their face. Go check the transcript. 2014, that went down. And they were the plaintiff. Under who? Under Ali Muhammad, who's Arna. So if whether he's affiliated with any other people called Arna or not, the fact that he's called Arna and he's a fraud, anybody who's saying that they're Arna is a fraud. So I'm going through this research and I'm saying, hold on a second. What? How come they got all this stuff that they're selling? Why they just selling stuff? So I screenshot their website. It wasn't his post or something like that. This is off their website that I screenshotted. Screenshot off their website. And I'm asking the question, like, what type of BS is this? How you indigenous services have child nationality stuff at 180? How is somebody born from their mom paying 180? 180 for what? A live birth record is one sheet of paper. A live birth record is one sheet of paper and a seal with some signatures. That's not even yours. If you're the head, whoever. You don't have nothing to do with children having a nationality. Are you their parent or something? 180. Juali said nationality is free. And then these people are going to say they honor Noble Juali. How you honor Noble Juali? Nationality is free. Juali told you nationality is free. But you're saying child nationality, 180. Nationality services, 720. 720? 720 for nationality? People who just came yesterday are going to be mesmerized by titles, ID, credential update, and all. Oh my gosh, I could pay to get, right? And they're going to get caught up. I've been around. I didn't just come yesterday. And it's crazy that somebody's sending me this. I'm a Moor. And I'm looking to build with a Moor, get some info, and Moor sending me this to say, yeah, check this out, please. People are playing games.
And there's a lot of this going on, but I wanted to give this particular brother an opportunity to break it down. What do you think, Just on the fly. I don't want to prepare nothing. He was trying to get me to come on some live on his channel at 5 o'clock on Friday, and I don't know. I might be busy by then. But I'm ready now.
So he can be busy today, but I can't be busy 2 days ago when they tried to bum rush me on some live 3-on-1. We got 3 on here, and then we just got one more spot, and that's for Cujo to come in here. So, but he could be busy though today and not be in the live. Stop it. You don't think that's not off to you?
Brother name is Cujo Ill. I know it's a lot of what appears to be disgruntled Moors who like to always kind of preach something to the degree of oh, y'all follow Ali Muhammad or Elijah Muhammad, he's the one who made y'all black again, and like it's like as if like the messenger's work drowned out their work, you know? And it ain't really no issue about no. I would say I don't even have an issue with the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They good and they right, but the way in some of which some of the brothers out here is interpreting that or presenting that to us is kind of outdated, and I mean it has its good to it, you know. It do have its good to it.
Drew Ali is outdated. Drew Ali is outdated. And these people are the ones that you should be going with. Not Drew Ali. Drew Ali's outdated. What Drew Ali had, you don't need that. What you need is this right here. This is what you need. This is why I don't want to have a conversation with you people. $1,500 for financial discovery package, debt discharge. Discharge what? If it's discharged, then why are you charging them? If you know how to discharge a debt, why are you charging somebody? Wouldn't you just discharge what you're charging them? Right? Mortgage discharge, 5% of original note. If you got 5% of an original note discharge, then why not just adverse possess? Like, why are you even playing mortgage games? If you can get that far to discharge the mortgage, then why the 5%? Like, state court ordered name change. State court ordered name change. Not indigenous. This is supposed to be the tribal government of the Maghreb Khalifa and all that. And it's $350 for state court ordered name change. State. The same colonists who. Why would you let the people do a name change through a state court? That's a fraud. That state court is a fraud. They don't have jurisdiction if you go in there. If you got some case or whatever like that, you talk about, oh yeah, they don't have jurisdiction. But then you want to sue and go into the jurisdiction. Drew Ali's outdated.
And there's no disrespect to the teachings of Moorish science, but it's a lot of yes sir, spiritual gangbanging, that type of stuff. Oh look, my true self coming on here. Yeah, a lot of the Moorish brothers on that type of time for sure. Like why? Like, come on, bro. I think if Noble Drew Ali was here, he would be a member of Arna.
What? If Noble Drew Ali was here right now, Noble Drew Ali would be down with all this? You think Noble Drew Ali is going to pull up this website and go through all this and say that all this is justified? That's not fair. That's downright rude. Because how dare they try to connect Noble Drew Ali to this fraud that they're doing right here, charging for packages. This is a Arna issue, and I'm a Grand Chic, so I only deal with heads. I don't deal with constituents. Who's the head of Arna? I'm divine minister. I got a certificate for that. If you want to see certificate with temple seal signed by divine minister, signed by Grand Chic. Right? As long as it's known that the personage of Crip Jesus, this has nothing to do with honors to Crip Jesus for doing his work that he's doing. Keep doing the work that you're doing, because it's having an impact. This is about the fraud that these people are running. That when you go check, and again, this is the colonists who they're saying you can go to their state court and do a name change. Arna, Aboriginal Republic of North America, Indigenous Government, plaintiff. Right? So they sued the highwaymen. They sued the highwaymen. Highwaymen came back to them. Highwaymen came back to them. Analysis, page 6. Analysis. As a primary matter, plaintiff's claims premised on his position as a head of state fail as a matter of law. No, you can't listen to the colonists. That's the colonist court. They sued them in the colonist court. This is the decision. They weren't the defendant. Remember, this is Arna. They got beat up by highwaymen and sued them. And these colonists who they sued came back with the plaintiff's claims premised on his position as a head of state fail as a matter of law, not a matter of color of law, not a matter of de facto law, not a matter of corporate law, maritime law, not a matter of all that. It's a matter of law. So what could they really have for you? Right? In light of the dismissal of some of the plaintiff's claims, the court would afford plaintiff an opportunity to amend. Third Circuit case law supports the notion that in civil rights cases, district courts must offer amendment, irrespective of whatever it is required. when dismissing a case for failure to state a claim unless doing so will be inequitable or futile. Following the Third Circuit's instruction, the court will afford plaintiff 30 days to file an amended complaint to reassert any claims brought pursuant to 42 USC, dismissed as a result of this opinion and accompanying order. Right? They're using opinions. They're using opinions to show that these people are a fraud. Plaintiffs should be mindful of the case law governing 1983 claims, which is briefly set forth above. Plaintiff is also reminded that he cannot maintain any claims based on his position of head of state, Aboriginal Republic of North America, Arna, see Amaru Indigenous Government. Additionally, plaintiff is reminded that he must properly serve his amended complaint in compliance with Federal Civil Procedure Rule 4, particularly Rule 4E and Rule 44J. Now, if they're gonna 2014 and it's evident that they didn't get their 5 million, they dismissed it. Why? Because Arna's not a nation. All these people only recognize one nation out here. That's the Moorish nation. Everybody knows who the Moors are. Our problem is that we don't know. And we don't know because we keep listening to people who are telling you that Noble Drew Ali is outdated. Noble Drew Ali is outdated? This is what Arna's talking about. Drew Ali being outdated. Aboriginal Republic of North America. These are the same Arna from out, that are Arna that's out here, that people who used to be in our temple, that we kicked out because they were selling packages. Now they're Arna out here claiming that they're Canaanland and all that they're the authority. And up to date, they probably hit people for about 100,000. Easy. About 5 people. That's what the Arna's on out here. That right now, Colonist Court is going after them right now. Camry, El Bay, and everybody else who's part of Arna, Moorish Consulate, and all that stuff out here. Right now, colonists are going after them. They're not even going to court. They're on the run right now. They got dates they're not even going to. That's the ones out here right now who were in our temple, who were part of the foundation out here. And then they left. They left this to go out there and sell packages. Anybody claiming that they're Arna is a fraud. And as Grand Chic of Moorish Science Temple of America, any head of Arna, Canaanland@gmail.com. Just send an email and we could talk, because you're talking BS about Drew Ali's outdated when we're Noble Drew Ali. What you mean he's outdated? We're using what Noble Drew Ali brought right now. How is it outdated? Right now we're using Moorish nationality. Right now. These people are just package sellers. That's all they're about. It's all about the package. Right? It's all these ones playing games with you. Town of Sun Village, California, makes history as first black tribal township in North America. That's why you're going to say Noble Drew Ali's outdated. Because you people still let them call you black. Like it's no problem. They put right no writs of error to correct these people. They're calling you black. And claim you got some tribal township. How you going for a village when you have a nation? What is California Republic? And then you have your little section of your website talking about Khalifa, and then people are supposed to be impressed that you're doing something. And then, if it's like that, how come all Moors aren't there who are in quote unquote California Republic? That's like, how come all people who are Islamic are not part of the Nation of Islam? Because that's not a nation, and everybody knows that's not a nation. Why would they be Islamic and be part of that? And everybody knows that the foundation of Islam in America is Noble Drew Ali, not anybody else. And everybody else after Noble Drew Ali took nationality out of the equation and started telling you that you're black, to now, January 27th, 2023, you're getting your Sun Village, and it's the first black tribal township. And people are impressed. Yeah, reparations. So what's that? Isn't that denationalization? Because the people are Moors. That's just what it is. There's no first black and all that stuff, tribal, anything. We're Moors. We're descendants of Moroccans born in America. Everybody on here, I bet you, is born in America, except for a few people who are tuning in from across the pond. Everybody else from over here somewhere. Right? Noble Drew Ali's a Cherokee chief. He ain't call himself Cherokee chief. He didn't have chiefs. Everybody knows he was Cherokee. How come he didn't say I'm Cherokee? Oh yeah, we're the Cherokee Nation. Cherokee Temple of America. The prophet taught that we're not Negro, black, colored. So how are these indigenous people getting called the black stuff, and then they're allowing it. Right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Right? And then they're telling you, become an e-resident. You were already put into slavery being a resident of the corporate jurisdictions. Taxed you to death, just like Nobu Ali told you that they're going to do to you if you don't get on your nationality. Nah, Nobu Ali's outdated. All right, they're going to tax you to death. As a resident, now they're telling you e-resident. How come they didn't tell you e-resident started with Estonia? For the borderless digital societies. So citizenship could be global. Right, with the transnational digital identity. I thought you got a reference with the trans? What transnational? Yeah, well, we mean from there to no, that's not the trans. That's not the trans that I know. Now, what do you mean digital identity? What you mean? What do you mean digital? Why would my identity be digital? Right? I'm right here in front of you. What do you mean e-resident? Right? Digital corpse. What do they want you know? Have you be instead of being Moorish national, they make you be a transnational. And then you want to know how come the trans are running the stuff right now. And then they can get away with pulling whatever they're pulling. They can fully get away pulling whatever they're pulling. Right? Pulling. Telling you. So any more who want to get in there? Yeah, here. There's the link. Just push the link. It was Juali before anything, because we're Moorish Science Temple. We're Moorish Divine National Movement. We're Moorish Nation. We're Moorish Empire. That's what we've been repping. Haven't seen any issues. No one is going to convince me to be other than what we've been doing since 2008. On the record. And ample amounts of Moors could speak on that. Right. We had a Moor last night. Like, man, this stuff saved my life. Thank you. right? We don't do this for props. We don't do this for props. We do this because this is the work for us to do as us. Islam,
Give me 1 second.
no worries.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You go ahead
Okay.
while you're, because even though your camera's off, we can still hear you.
I'll turn it back on. I was trying to grab. Unfortunately, one of my friends just had an emergency, but I didn't
It's
want
all
to miss
good.
this.
I will all as well, though.
Okay. But first off, I want to say Islam more because you did come to me in the spirit of peace and respect, so I want to return that. And I want to be clear that I can't come in here and just even on being realistic. I can't come in here and act like I'm gonna speak for Arna because I don't speak for Arna. I don't have no position to speak for Arna. I've never even met Ali Muhammad, so I can't sit up here and act like I'm about to say this, that, and the other. The way I even got involved was because I'm friends with the mayor, Ansar El Muhammad, and we were up there just talking about different things, showing different things. I think it had came across. Now I can't speak for you, but if I'm not mistaken, some things we had posted that came across, your way, your desk as they call it, and it was talking about, Ali Muhammad and Arna, and you were like, nah. Then maybe from some of the posts and back and forths, we felt on our end like even if you had a grievance with it, it was kind of like we felt it was kind of hostile the way it was being handled. Like we trying to build up bridges between us. So me personally, like you said,
Pardon the interjection. When you said friends, like for me, when I say friends, that's 20 years or something. So when you say you and him are friends, like, do you mean you connected online to do something, or you knew him and he's your brother, like for real brother, not just we're conscious brother or we're more as a brother? I just wanted to be clear.
I have a personal. Yes, I have a personal stake with the Ansar El Muhammad, but like I said, I didn't know we were going to talk about Arna, so that's why I said when it comes to Arna, I can't come in here and speak for Ali Muhammad. I've never even met Ali Muhammad.
Yeah, because that's what the brother Ansar, that's what he's part of, right, Arna?
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie to you. I know other people that's part of Arna that I'm connected to as well. That I would consider my friends.
So how come you're not part of Arna?
Well, I would have to ask.
I'm not part either. I'm just, this is just the dialogue. Like
I would have to ask what entails being part of Arna. So my awareness of Arna comes from the fact that, as you know, or maybe you don't know, let me act like I'm famous or nothing, but I talk about it a lot. I just did a lot of time in prison. I've been out for going on 4 to 5 years. So my relationship with Arna, just like my relationship with the 5% Nation and other groups, even the Moorish Science Temple, these are all the groups that were willing to offer to me, a person in my position, knowledge of self, an opportunity to do for self and learn for self. Now, I don't look at Ali Muhammad as some savior. I even have talked to people who said they've done things with him and weren't satisfied. Those that were people I know who've actually used things he's taught them that I've personally been with as they purchase this or do this and that. However, I see it all within the realm of organizations with a similar goal and mission. So when you group us together, like, that's why I respect what you said when you said, well, I'm not talking about him or them, but as far as Sun Village is concerned, this is what all I'm staking. I have no stake in really defending Arna. I don't I don't know about. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, what I know of Arna is what I've come across in my last. Well, your question was why I'm not a part of Arna. So what I would say is, I've done business with Arna, and I was satisfied. I've had things set up by Arna. Oh my bad. I've had things set up by Arna that I was satisfied with. Now, am I in a position to defend them against what you're saying? I can't. I don't have the answers for those. I'm gonna say I can answer some things, but I can't answer everything. You know what I mean? I'm not in that position with Arna to do that. That would just be like somebody who came to the MSTA and just because they got their nationality card, they know a few things, they're finna go out and speak on your behalf. And you may be watching and say, I wouldn't have said that. What is? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get you.
But I can't say
then go ahead.
As far as with Sun Village, it's bigger. It's not like Ansar just went there and said, this is our tribal township now. This is actually a mission that's about 100 years old that we're attempting to bring awareness to and continue. Sun Village was started by a man named Melvin Ray Grubbs in 1939. He actually went from Oklahoma. He was born in Oklahoma. I believe he was a Cherokee, maybe even a Cherokee chief. And he went to Chicago, of all places, right? And then after he leaves, he becomes a lawyer there. And after he leaves Chicago in the 30s, he goes to Southern California, and he links up with a group I believe was called the Marble family. And due to the racist laws, he had to join forces with them to purchase, I believe it was 1,000, not acres, but hectares of land. And this was called the Sun Village Land Corporation. At this time, people who were, now we could say, don't say black, but these are people who don't know who they are at all, except for the color of their skin and the texture of their hair. So these people at that time are in the mode of death, are in the mode of non-nationality. So these people, he was offering them an opportunity to separate from the oppression in Los Angeles, because in Los Angeles, we were basically being what's called redlined, but even worse, we were being like literally cornered into only the Watts area. This is where the name South Central comes from. We weren't allowed to cross past South Central Avenue. So this was an attempt by him to get the quote unquote black population out of the Los Angeles inner city area and get them to build their own area, to recognize their own, nationality. Now, that's where I'm not going to speak for somebody and say he was a Moor or he had this thing to teach them, but I know he was born in Oklahoma. He was under the Cherokee. He went to Chicago, and after he became a lawyer and learned what he learned in Chicago, he comes to Southern California and attempts to do this. You understand? He even, well, I'll take this back. From what he did leave behind, it's understood that he was attempting to emulate what was done with Black Wall Street. Right. I would say better. I don't think he was around for Black Wall Street, so I think that's just something being written down. I would say he was emulating what he saw in Chicago, right?
Yeah, out there.
So,
like what he saw in Chicago, he took out there to California.
And then, and let's be real, in Chicago in the 30s, you can't deny what was going on there. So,
right.
So I see it as someone taking the lessons and attempting in their way to live it out, act it out in that time. I want to say that. I want to make that clear. A lot of things look hazy 100 years later because you got to put into account of what was going on at that time. For example, Marcus Garvey. We sit up here all day and beat each other up about using the word black and Negro when Marcus Garvey was called the Universal Negro Improvement Corporation. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was dumb. I think that had to do with the politics of the time. You feel me?
Right.
So when he came out here, you know, even when it says Black Township, I can personally tell you, I know Ansar El Muhammad myself personally, and when we talk to each other, I know that he did that for the press. Well, he allowed that. Let me say, because that was under Fox 40, but he allowed that for the press release to continue the same mission we have to attract our lost brothers and sisters walking around Los Angeles. When I come to him and say Crip and Jesus, I'm not out here promoting Crip. How could I speak to y'all or go to a temple or even be respected by a person of your stature or Jamal if I'm banging Crip? It's the point is, it's like we call in the 5% Nation the magnetic. When I walk around Los Angeles County, the zombies I see here, I have to say, even if I was to say, you're not black, you're a Moor, and I say, well, look at this history of the black, that's a Moor. I still have to unpack this word for them. You feel me? So the point of the press release was to translate it to their understanding. This was to attract people to come. Oh, okay, what's going on over there, brother? Oh, all right, you know, and then they get understanding that, because I can tell you, I know Moors. I know Moors that wear the red fez hat, pay dues every month, live right here in LA, and they haven't said nothing about Sun Village. They don't know about Melvin Ray Grubbs or this history. So sometimes our identity and history can get evangelized, you know, and my whole thing is just going against the evangelization of it. You know, I'm just trying to normalize and bring it to our people, because like they say in the temple, without a body, you know, we have nothing.
Islam.
Members of the body, you know, so we need people.
Let me just get some of these other bars on here. Islam, brother, is Islam, brother.
Islam, Grand Chic. I just want to interject with, I'm reading from the Moorish literature. And while I'm reading from the Moorish literature, because you say 1939, now I'm reading something from Friday, September, which is the holy day, Friday, September 28, 1928. This is before that. And this is why this is important for them not to be pushing and shoving Noble Drew Ali's word and messages aside. Friday, September 28, 1928, Prophet Noble Drew Ali speaks to the nations, which means all the nationalities of the world. If you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America. No, Nation of Islam and all that started 1930 something. This 1928. This is why this is important. Join the Moorish Science Temple of America and become part of this divine movement, which means God-given movement. Then you will have power to redeem your race, because you would know who you are. That's key point. Who are we? Moorish Americans. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans born in America. That's why we are Moorish Americans, not from a club point, not from a religious point, bloodline point, birthright. And it says, then you will have power to redeem your race, because you will know who you are and know who your forefathers were. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. That's where they stole that quote from. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you now have. Need every one of you who think that your condition can be better. This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place amongst the affairs of men. If the Europeans and other nations, nationality, not clubs or colors, are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish national and divine movement. Moorish bloodline, national, your nationality is Moorish. Divine, that's God-given, because your mother is God. That's divinely given to you, your bloodline. The movement, because it's ongoing, it's never stopped. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name, which is Moorish American. This is what it was. I mean, excuse me. You must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen, not a United States citizen, American citizen. You must have a nationality, not a club. This is what it was meant when it said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you by the prophet. The reason I read that is because it's giving insight on what has been the problem since the prophet transition. All of these people coming out with all of this club, with all of this tribalism, when we have a nation, a nationality. The people keep pushing aside the nationality for all of this this tribe, this club, this color stuff, thinking that it's going to raise the people, and it's absolutely enslaving the people. This is why nobody wants to speak on what Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who all of these people were students of. And one thing about the prophet that I love is how much a mastermind he was. He knew that it was going to be sellouts, to the point that he put the dates on everything, that most of the stuff that he wrote, because he was showing the people that after he transitioned, they're going to come out claiming that they're the first. This is why he put the dates to show this was before these people. This is why they called the 20s the roaring 20s. It was the mooring 20s. The why Chicago was thriving, because the prophet, where he set up there on August 1st, 1928, on 37 and Federal in Chicago. You see what I'm saying? That's why Moors make their pilgrimage. When you look at the 1904 plans, it's a map of it. Go look it up. I think it's the St. Louis or the Missouri plans or something like that. It's 1904. You go look up that map. Where they call Illinois Chicago is Morocco. This is where the original Morocco was. It's not a state. It's a nation sitting inside of a continent called North America. This is northwest of Mexico. You see what I'm saying? This is why looking up the prophet information is important. We're not coming from no club or no tribe or no religious standpoint. We know that what the prophet left was these temples was not from no praying 5 times a day. They were set up to dispense this information about our bloodline, just like the church was supposed to dispense the information about our bloodline, as well as the religious viewpoint. That's what the temples were set up to dispense the information about our bloodline and the religious, which is really not a religion at all. It's a scientific, because once you understand why and how you was created and how are you supposed to conduct yourself, good or evil, higher self or lower self, that is the scientific method on understanding life, on how you supposed to carry yourself when dealing with self and with dealing with humanity at large. That's what the prophet information, and this is why we call all these other people sellouts, because they know this information. They studied this information, and when you follow their teachings, they take quotes and teachings from the prophet, change it just like they're doing today, taking stuff from R.V. Bay and the master teachers, and then they change it, resell it to the people, when the prophet even told them, first lesson of the Quran. If I'll finish with that, and I'll leave the floor after that. But I'm gonna end with the first page of the Quran, and this is why this is important.
But you gonna allow me to respond, right, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna allow you to respond, but that's why I said I'm gonna end with this, because it's finishing up everything that I'm speaking of. And it says the genealogy of Jesus with 18 years of the events, life, works, and teachings of India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. These secret lessons are for those who love Jesus and desire to know about his works and teachings. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Jesus. Now, metaphysically, we know as Moorish, Jesus means justice. So when he's saying all those that love Jesus, he's saying all of those that love justice. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones, that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons, you can set your house in order and your children will learn to love instead of hate. The lessons of these pamphlets are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity. As I, the prophet, am I am a prophet, and the servant is worthy of his hire. You can receive this pamphlet at expenses. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims, not Muslims, Muslims of Egypt and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. When the time was appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets, and for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered to the hands of the Muslims of America. All authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet, 1927, before any other so-called organization or club. He telling you this. This is why this is important to go read what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali left. When you understand metaphysics, you will understand what your bloodline represent. We are the mothers and fathers of all humanity. Not no club, not no tribe, nation, nationality, bloodline. Now, I yield the floor.
Well,
Islam, excuse yourself. If you could just put a pin on what you were gonna say. Let me just get Brother Is to get in here for 2 seconds, and then you could respond to Brother Malik.
Islam.
Peace, Brother Is.
Islam, good night. Happy holy day. And happy holy day to the other noble. I'm not going to be long, but I'm hoping, and I will, that all that are watching this, whether they're on the panel or in the chat, or we'll see this later, will get the understanding of why study is so necessary. And it's the reason why the prophet told us 3 times, one after another, study, study, study. And when you think you're done, then what? You start a village. I understand the intent, whether positive or what have you. But if your studies are incomplete, you may be thinking, it may appear to you that you're getting something grandioso point established. But in reality, you're giving away your nation for a single bowl of red pottage. We don't have issue with uniting with anyone on the planet, anyone in the universe. Doesn't even have to be this planet. But there are certain things that are not up for question or could be compromised in certain ways. We know that we're digging out from hundreds of years of mental psychosis, whether you term it slavery or not, because I'm not no Slav. I'm a Moor. Where you domiciled from, at, where you incarnated in the flesh, tells me nothing. Why? Moors are global. If you didn't study, you won't see the unspoken languages that are left on all 4 corners of the so-called planet, which are really the universe. If you can't read or understand the language of architecture and its science that's got conflated discombobulated and then sold to people through other means. If you can't see the destruction that causes, then you just told me we can't unite. Because the road to hell, which is just a chamber underneath the king's throne, by the way, where he takes a shit, is paved with good intentions. You got to do your study before you start coming out in public and championing any cause. That's the key. It's not waiting for someone to tell you if this is right or wrong. It's about you knowing what's right and wrong. Because when you look up, those that'll be around you, those are your brothers. Those are you should be your friends. Because they're there in the same spot as you. So you could try to distance yourself from whatever organization, whatever entity, however, that's fine. No problem. No beef. No issue. But let me ask a question, real simple. If someone's known to be going to a certain island that was owned by a supposedly suicided person, rhymes with Jeffrey Epstein, what are you going to think about that person? Never heard that old adage? Don't tell me who you are. Show me who you hang with, and I'll tell you who you are. If you want to hang out with pedos, don't be too surprised if people think that you're a pedo. Just that simple. The company that you keep speaks volumes. I stand with my prophet. I stand with my Gran Heki. Peace. Yeah.
It's on me, Cujo. Is back around. How you? Okay, I'll respond. I respect.
Apologies. I was talking to myself. I was muted. My bad. Yeah, it's on you more.
Okay. I respect what you're saying, brother, and I want to respond to every point you made and the brother before you. Okay. So I'm gonna go backwards because I think the way the mind works, it deals with what it last heard the best. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing you said was about keeping company. I made it very clear that I have nothing bad to say about Ali Muhammad, but I myself have personally never met him. I like I said earlier when he asked me, "Are you part of Arna?" Like I said, I've dealt with these people. I've had things done for me. I've heard some certain missions of theirs that I agree with. So on that end, now you said, well, what about if you go to the island with Jeffrey Epstein? I believe that's how you pronounce his name. What if you're hanging with pedos? Let's take it further. What if you're hanging with killers, robbers? These are all criminal and immoral things. You feel what I'm saying? That I understand what you're saying. The people I'm around, Ansar El Muhammad himself, and maybe a few other brothers and sisters I met out there in Sun Village, and my brother Mujahid El Allah, who was the first one to even make me aware of Arna. I've never heard of them doing anything illegal, immoral, or even wrong, maybe incorrect and something they're saying they'll correct themselves. So I can still stand on who I'm around, sir. I can't say that I've seen Ansar El Muhammad selling these services for $3,500 and all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't worship Ali Muhammad. I don't know anybody I met from Arna that does look at him like some savior or none of that. So I can't respond to that. I don't know them to look at him in this manner. To us, to those that I've met, and I'm not a member, so I can't speak from that level of perspective, but to those I've met, what I know of, he's a human being. It's an organization like other organizations. Now, as far as Ali Muhammad himself, I can speak my own opinion of him. Let me stop trying to distance myself. Like you said, I'm not scared. He said things I don't agree with. I've even seen him change his opinion through the years. I've been watching him for about, give or take, 8 to 9 years, something like that. I've seen him even come with certain sciences and then, okay, this is how you do it. You know, so I'm not here to put him on a pedestal. As a matter of fact, I'm not here to promote Arna. I'm here to promote for us to stop evangelizing our true identity. Let's stop taking our truth and making it a religion and making it a putting someone on the pedestal, because I think you would respect the way that I came. I'm affiliated with Temple number 80 right here, the one of the few temples in South Central that actually helps the people, goes out and does civic acts beyond even just, you know, what the prophet said, and teaching. They actually go out and deal with the people. Maybe that's how they got me involved. They're not scared to cross that line to deal with everyone, even those who call themselves Negro, Black, and colored, because they're unaware. You know what I mean? Just like Marcus Mosiah Garvey, all honors. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had the Garveyites, who Malcolm X, who went to the essence as El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. His father was a Garveyite. So we can't act like everyone's going to get it completely right and exact. Everyone's going to get along. Everyone's going to agree on everything. But what we do have to do is we can't take our reality and evangelize it to the point that now we're putting up blockers and not allowing anyone to learn or even mention a name or anything. You get what I'm saying? Now, I want to speak on behalf of what the first brother was saying, but just to say to the other brother, we're not here to divide anything. To Brother Isbay, we're here to find common ground and build bridges. Me and the mayor have been part of several organizations. We're not these people who just come on the internet and try to go against Moors. We're not with that at all. I think you could even see from the language he used, like, let me let the brother come up here. We're people who've actually dealt with people in the temple, have actually been to the temple. I can't speak for him. I don't know what's going on in his life, but I've actually got a card, done paperwork, and done many things. And I pride myself in being someone who's introduced the prophet to Crips, introduced the prophet to Bloods that didn't know, introduced the prophet to regular Sunni Muslims that didn't know, introduced the prophet to people that was calling themselves Shia and explaining to them, do you know what a Sharifian is and the bloodline, introduced the prophet. So I'm not scared to cross those lines. I'm not so judgmental that I'm going to deny the people who need this information the most, more than anybody, anything. And that's the reason why I wrote the Blue Bible. The Blue Bible is not me remixing Moorish science. The Blue Bible is not me doing that at all, saying this is the way. This is me breaking down that in chapter 1 is called Crip, because I explain how in my whole life, I never knew that the inventor of Crip was named Raymond Washington. And then I found out by being in prison and being a 5%er, if I wasn't to join the 5% Nation, which allows them to teach the lessons to prisoners and street dudes, the stones, the black pea stones that I had been beefing and shooting back and forth with all my life. Oh, you a 5%er? You got body? Oh, let's tell you about Jeff Fort and all that. Then from there, I learned El Rukin. Then from there, I was driving down the street on Normandy Avenue, fresh out, still with this mentality, and saw something that said Moorish Outpost. Oh, let me stop there and see what they're saying. She asked me a few questions about the one-on-one, allowed me to come to the temple. How did I know the answer to those questions in the one-on-one? Because I was never scared. I never let no one evangelize any of the information they gave me. If I would have been thinking that way, I would have never even listened to the dude tell me about Jeff Ford. I would have never listened to the dude telling me about El Rukis, because I would have already been, oh, I already learned this. I'm stuck on this. I already had students from the 5% Nation when I went to the Moorish temple, because I'm not here to say I know everything, I got it right. I'm here to say, hey, why shouldn't, if you have an interest in I've seen dudes come to the Authority Day when we had it over here at Kenneth Hahn Park. I was there with Kenu Omar Bey, Grand Governess Cynthia Smith L. We were all out there kicking it. The youngest Grand Sheik, Dolphin L. And it was people, it was a lot of people coming. I don't like religion. I don't like, a lot of dudes who were there to be naysayers, but they were there. So it was a chance for me, Crip Jesus, what type of name is that here? To use the magnetic of the fact that I'm using a gang name, a Christian name, huh? Because these are dudes who come from a background where most of what they know is gang and religion. In North America, well, let me say this, under the United States Corporation, that's what they offer you. this. So I had to hit him with the Edward Wilmot Blyden. I had to hit him with the Hears of Henry Turner versus United States. I had to hit them with the Sundry Moors Act. I had to let him know it's bigger than what you see right here. This is real. But I have to be aware of that information to hit him with that information. I can't get to that information just saying the prophet said, the prophet said, the prophet said. Even when we were up there, when the Grand Sheik Cujo said what he said, I didn't know it was Grand Sheik Cujo L because he doesn't really show his face on social media like that. Soon I realized who it was. I said, oh man, all honest man, I love what you're doing because he's one of the few people he's not scared. He'll put up an Ali Muhammad debate and go back and forth with. He'll put up some stuff about Sheikh Ahmadine. He'll discuss the other opinions and the other those that are adverse, and he'll come to a conclusion. That's breaking out of dogma. I've been to several temples where I can make this assessment. I've been to temples where it's strictly dogma. You're not learning nothing about no U.S.-Morocco Treaty of Friendship. You're not learning nothing about the Sundry Moors Act. You're not learning nothing about any sheiks that were out here besides the Prophet, peace and blessings upon him. You're not learning about the NOI connection. None of that. So you can even come to an educated conclusion and say, this is why I stand on the Moorish side. This is why I'm this or that. If you have a person who's following this just because what the Grand Sheik said, what the Prophet said, and they're not actually seeing anything from it, any fruits of that labor, they're just as bad as a blind religious person. And this is the ones that go around and make the other people confident to go back and forth. And the last thing to respond to the other brother, I ain't gonna go too long-winded, is the brother Ansar Muhammad. I don't know if you heard him correctly. He didn't say outdated. He said that what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches, he agrees with. He said that he feels that there are people out here presenting the information and teaching it in an outdated manner. I agree with him on that. I agree that ever since the temple split into 3 groups, you've had 3 different agendas going. But I don't feel that I'm ranked up or experienced enough to promote that. I would never say that to the public. I'm here on with y'all, you know. And another thing, as far as the township is concerned, there is no attempt here to supersede or go grandiose over what the temple says. This has nothing to do with going against the temple. And to the brother Malik Yusuf Bey, no disrespect, but you are 100% completely wrong when you keep saying club. Melvin Ray Grubbs did not start a club in 1939. He did not start a religion. He did not start an organization to help people. He went and bought land in Southern California. He had just came from Chicago, so I was saying it seems to me that, okay, first of all, he was born in 1900 in Oklahoma. In 1921, he actually saw, we talking about it, he actually saw them burn down Black Wall Street. The first word there is black. So the point here is they were attempting to use these same principles that we talk a lot about, that we argue about. They were attempting to bring them to life. The same thing as an Amish town, the same thing as a Mormon town. And if they weren't right or they were wrong, then we invite everyone to tell us, hey man, do it like this, do it like that. We have been attempting to promote ourselves. We don't see no difference in the word Moor and my grandmother, my uncle, or my dad. My dad was the one who told me what Moor means. Not the Prophet, not Grand Sheik. He probably was the one to leave it here so my dad could figure it out. But I remember the day I learned what a Moor was. I was with my father watching Martin Lawrence on that damn movie with the Black Knight or something. And it kept calling him Moor, Moor, Moor. And my father looked me dead in the eyes and said, do you know what Moor means? Do you know what a Moor is? I said, no. He said, a black person. Is that correct? No. But that's his limited understanding. You understand what I'm saying? From that alone, no one in my life could ever convince me that a Moor is not that. Because you know you're going to stand on with your grandma or your daddy say more than anything, right? And alhamdulillah, once I joined the 5%, once I was already into all of that and thought I knew everything, someone pulled my ear, said, hey, you ever heard of Noble Drew Ali? I had been heard of his name. Went in one ear, right out the other. Why? Because of the Jesus effect. See, in the black community where everyone's mentally dead, they always need a savior or someone dressed up or a figurehead. So fortunately, Noble Drew Ali can play that position, and you still learn about nationality. But however, if we put blinders on our people to where they're not allowed to see anything else, it doesn't make any sense. Sun Village is a real place. It's not a club. It's not a group. I don't even suggest everybody come join. At least look at it though. I would think that if you're a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, you would want to know about some land in Southern California owned by a man named Melvin Ray Grubbs, 1,000 hectares. And actually, what you should know is our people were being redlined in Los Angeles to be stuck. They weren't being allowed to move to Palmdale and Lancaster. This is the area that Sun Village is adjacent to. It's a census designated place. It's Sun Village, California, 93543. And this is information. Take it or leave it. This is information about your people. You can't get so caught up in this that you say, it's not my people. Melvin Ray Grubbs is a black man. Ain't my people. Come on, brother. Now,
But that's the truth, though. Is Islam. The problem when people mention Moors, they mention Moors from a third party perspective. Everybody of Asiatic descent is Moors. This is the problem that has always been the case. What we have been trying to get the people to see. The problem is everybody want to be everything else but Moorish. That has always been our problem. The problem once everybody collectively claim their Moorish bloodline and stop looking at only the Moorish Science Temple as being what Moors are about. The reason those temples were set up was to dispense the information publicly and protect the rights about us being Moors, was to reestablish our government as Moors, because this is our inherited land. No matter what part that you go in, it wasn't about a town or a city. It was about the whole world, the whole landmass being the Aboriginal people, belonging to the indigenous people, now thinking they're black, Indian, African American, Negro, everything but Moorish people. We are Moorish people. Until the people who collectively start claiming that, which we as Moors that know what's up are doing, taking it to the hedges and highways, not package selling, not. And it's not even a disrespect to nothing nobody else done. It's only when they conflict the fact that we are Moors with everything else and try to build off that. Because once, even if their intentions are good, if they don't start with the bloodline, it's going to end up being a falsehood and it's going to fail because you're leading the people in the wrong direction. This is why we tell the people to study what.
Brother, I let you talk the whole time.
No, I want two people. Okay. Hold on. I want
now,
to.
You're still talking about.
I could actually respond back there, Grant Hickey.
Before we go forward, I just wanted to say from Malik perspective and the brother Chris perspective, I get it. I get the two perspectives. You know what I mean? Like the idea of this is where these people were at a particular time. They acquired this land, and it's there for our people to go there and use if they want to do that. Right? I get that perspective. You know what I mean? Loud and clear. It makes absolute sense. Honors to him for even doing that. Because that's something more than what a lot of people would have did for their people. If it's talking hectares and all that. So I also see the perspective of Brother Malik that if that's during the time and we're looking at 100 years later, you know, that should be built up. There should be houses on that, roads going through that. It's supposed to be something by now. It can't still just be this land that's there all these years later. So, which goes back to the same thing with the temple, that, you know, somebody obviously wasn't doing their job. Somebody obviously dropped the ball for it to be in this position where Sun Village should be a place where it's a turn off on the highway, just like every other town. And there's houses, and then you're riding through, and you're seeing people looking at you like that. We haven't seen a car come through here in ever. Because it's their own little jurisdiction that they have there. It should be that, and that's unfortunate that it's not what it should be, and that there aren't many more like that all throughout where we're at. Whether they say whatever it is that they call themselves, I get it, because our people are asleep, so we're on a way advanced level saying that we're Moors relative to them and their consciousness. But I know brother Bay wanted to respond to something you said, and then I'll get back to you. Islam is
Islam. Just 2 quick points for the brother. First, you're not going to believe it, but I agree with you. Seriously. If someone's out there in the world playing Pastor Pigfoot with the prophet and his teachings, that's a problem. So you'll have no issue with me in regards to Moors that do that try to put the prophet in place of Isus, singing hymns. No, that's not what this is about. We know this. Everyone in this temple, and this temple's not just physical. We travel the 7, 8 bridges in the sky, because every single continent has people for this temple that you're here now. That's the first thing. Second thing, twice already in your demonstration, you brought up the Honorable Marcus Garvey. Peace be upon him too. Just to let you know, before he got deported, when he was locked up in ATL, Atlantis, Prophet paid him a visit. They met and spoke for quite some time. If you read Marcus Garvey's literature, as certain groups, whether they want to be called Garveyites or alphabet soup, what have you, they always seem to fail to grab on to the point that the Honorable Marcus Garvey had made just prior to getting booted out to Jamaica, saying that the Negro will never be happy to guess his nationality. Negro, black, and colored, everyone on this panel already knows, as well as the other misnomers, are not the nationality. That's where I take issue. So I get the whole, we have to go meet the people where they're at mentally. I get that. But that's not the message to beat the dead horse about. The message to beat the dead horse about is nationality, because that dead horse will reincarnate. What you see as a horse is really a phoenix and shall rise. That's the reason you're seeing everything that's going on today in this so-called world. When you boil it down, everything has been set up to keep the nationality from taking off like wildfire. From the fiat system to the so-called educational system. By the way, Moors don't get educated. We get erudited. If you don't know the difference, after the call, take a look. I promise it'll be worth your time. What I was waiting for to hear from you, okay, is how this, whatever you want to call it, I'm not just talking about the town, but this whole issue with Glenhackey got to this point. Because if we are all following the prophet, whether you want to give him high esteems at every corner or not, I do. But that's my personal. That doesn't mean that I'm a Bible thumper, Quran thumper. I'm going to stand on a soapbox on the corner and start yelling things at crowds. It means for those that have the light, they know to go. They know where to go. They just need that first sign, that first glimmer, so they know which way to follow. And it's not to stay back there as a follower, but it's for you to play catch up to get to the point where instead of you being looked at as a follower, you're sitting at the table and you're bringing things to the nation. So, congratulations. Best of endeavors with the town. That's great. But have you ever heard of Mooresville in the Carolinas? Oh, okay. So then we know that it ain't just one town. There's multiples of these around, but no one's trying to take that to be, all right, we got to start practicing our hymns and pray harder for Noble Jew Ali. No one, there are many, unfortunately, still to this day, who have thought at one time or another be a great idea to type this out, and instead of handing it to the people at cost or at expense, we're going to make a profit from the prophet. First is with an F, the second is not. So again, the company we keep says a lot about a person, about the being. That's my point. Your works are your works. Let them speak for themselves. Constructive criticism is constructive criticism. Get it? No one's above reproach. But at the same time, a speaker should also know their audience. If you're cutting down to that magnetic phase of attracting those who only hear the things that they are limited to, I get it. But at what point you're going to have to elevate? You're going to have to bring them up and out from them. Because if you don't, then there's no difference between your works and what Pastor Pigfoot's doing. I'm not saying this as a thumper. I'm saying this as a brother. We all need to tighten up. All. We need to be able to speak about things in an intelligible and denotive way. Because the connotative long been out. But it's crumbling. Why? Because of the foundation. What's the foundation? The truth. So now I'll just say you can continue on with your nice demonstration. Islam. How you?
And one thing before the brother start, as the brother was saying, what I was saying wasn't in disagreement with what has been created. What I'm saying is these things that has been created, just like in the past, what these tribes, the Cherokee, the Iroquois, all of these different tribes have confounded is great and all, but it's also been the things that has brought us down because they didn't collectively stick to what was supposed to be what Noble Drew Ali has showed us once again to claim nationality. This is what the difference is of Moors who really study the teachings and are teaching as Grand Sheik Cujo and the rest of us, just like Taj Tariq Bey and the rest of master teachers are standing on. We're pushing the message of we have to redeem our people back their birthright, their bloodline, your beliefs, things that's created, businesses that people conduct and can and constitute to the world. That's great and all, but the things that's collectively not helping our people rise is the fact that they keep forgetting to add the nationality, the birthright issue. This is what the nations around the world is keep trying to signal to our people and their own brethren, which is us. As even like what you were saying earlier, like when you speak of Moors, and I don't know if you intentionally do it, it's just probably like, you know what I'm saying, the different teachings. People speak of Moors of our descent from a third party perspective as if they're not Moors. This is what I mean about the club thing. When people speak on Moors, fine, they only speak on like from a temple perspective or from a religious. What we're saying is when we're saying Moors, we're talking bloodline, nationality issue. The fact that the temple was set up when we giving honors to our temples, those places was places set up to dispense this information about our birthright, to refix the issue of our birthright, to reestablish our Moorish American government, to get our people back to a national and international sense of mind, to be able to do business without it being molested, to be able to exercise their rights without it being infringed upon because they're claiming a color or they're claiming some tribe, when we're trying to collectively get them back to the mind of the foremothers and forefathers. Like the prophet said, go back to that state of mind of your foremothers and forefathers, your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Their mindset, they was Moors. And it didn't come from no religion or no club or no organizational standpoint. It was strictly bloodline. Sure, our people had different organizations, different businesses, different contributions, but they never forgot their collectiveness, which is their bloodline. And you don't see no other nation having those argumentative problems about their bloodline. Our people dismiss their own bloodline because, oh, Moors, yeah, they did some bad things. Yeah, they enslaved all nations. As the prophet said, all nations suffered slavery because they honored not, you know what I'm saying, what belonged to them. They all followed after things that just like we're doing today. And this is what Moors keep having to scratch their head over, because we keep trying to show people that what we're showing to people is not from no club thing. We're not trying to get you to join a club. We're not trying to get you to join the organization. We're trying to get you to reclaim the birthright, which is your Moorish American bloodline. And once the people collectively do that, whatever the contributions that they make, they will see them. They will see them flourishing. They will see them thriving. It's the fact that they keep separating Moors as if it has nothing to do with them, or they keep separating it like it's coming from a religious standpoint or some different sect of Islam, or, you know what I'm saying, some sociable organization, when it's the bloodline of everybody on this planet with melanin in their body that everybody keep looking over. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point that me and Grand Sheik Cujo and other Moors keep trying to get our people to see. The point that I'm making is what you're doing, like when you meeting the people where they at, is cool. But what we're doing, we're past that. We're taking the people, we coming straight from it's time to elevate the people. It's enough people and it's enough information has been dispensed to where we can just go straight in and elevate the people. That's what we coming. We've been doing this so long that we come from a straight elevate and not just meeting them where they at. That's
Can I
why
cut
we
you
take
there?
our time with the basics of showing them who they bloodline. That's why everything we talk about, we show facts to, because we showing them from the perspective from a
Can
law,
I
a
interject there?
history, and a scientific standpoint. So I'm gonna yield the floor with that, but I was just had to make that point before you go further. Islam.
Okay, but that was the point I was saying before. Now you may think belittle it and you're meeting the people where they at, but I would challenge. I don't charge $100 for this. I don't sell no services, nothing. So I would challenge everybody in here to get a copy of this and see. Chapter 1, Crip. I'm not meeting nobody where they at. I'm letting them know that I found out later on in my life from Cosmo L himself, personally, when he visited Leimert Park, that Danifu Kareem Bey was the author of the original constitution that they created to try to form Crip. That's important. That will get a lot of people that sleep thinking I'm Crip to pay attention to the prophet, which y'all won't. I seen dudes in the comments saying I used to Crip. These dudes probably from Pennsylvania or some other shit talking about Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington, the watered down version. I'm not bringing stuff to just meet people where they at. I'm bringing the truth. Okay, the chapter 2 about Bloods. I break down that there was a Moor here named T. Rogers that helped start that whole thing, and it got messed off and watered down. What y'all in fear of? Exactly. I'm here to resurrect the stones. This is why Kinu Omar Bey himself got a copy of the book, because he was personally taught by Fort, supposedly. That would bring an El Rukin connection. We're telling them, hey, you know what? The root of all of that, we need to come on, listen to people like Cujo. Come on, listen to people like Malik. I'm not meeting them where they at. I'm giving them facts. Let's be real, Malik. This stuff is not taught in the 101 none of that, because this happened after the prophet. There's more to it. We're 100 years later now. You feel what I'm saying? Chapter 4. No, let's go to chapter 5. The gods, right? Well, the God I was put under after I graduated, and I'm the guy, blah 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 blah. The dude they sent me to, because they seen I used to go to the temple every Friday before I even knew too much, just out of my attraction from the gang world. You can deny me and say, through with them, throw them in the trash, we want nothing to do with them. That's your problem. That's my mission, though, because I was one of them people that you talk about that said, I don't want to hear that, I don't want to hear that. You feel what I'm saying? And it was one of the gods. Matter of fact, it was in the plus degrees that I seen Noble Drew Ali mention. So then from there, I meet this person, I meet that person, I order a circle 7, because I'm telling y'all, this may not be y'all intent, but I'm telling y'all, the way that y'all talking, the way y'all keep saying, well, we passed that, we do, bro, you are underestimating how mentally dead our people are. I know grown-ass man can't read.
Yeah.
You can't get a dude that can't read to just hop on board like that. You need me. I know dudes have joined temples all through this country off this book that was gangbangers, or that was NOI, or that was 5%, or vice versa. That was listening to the Moors and had a bunch of bad experiences. Because we're not gonna sit here in front. We know what goes on. There's people out here using the prophet, just like I said, for Jesus effect. And they're going around. I've seen dudes get out of jail. Oh yeah, I'm a Grand Sheik, and use it. I can get you this. I can get you off the license. I can make you sovereign. Using the misnomers, using improper. And I met people like that who said, "Oh yeah, I'm done with them, man. I'm about to mess with it." And I got them back right with this. You feel what I'm saying? Chapter 5, the guys. I'll talk about how one of the guys they sent me to was Nationality, used the name L. Me as well. Okay. Adamites. I go into the no jumper. I go into the bloodline of Adam. Chapter 7, the Black Illuminati, where I'm breaking down the other groups that were considered secretive. History versus mystery. I can go on and on, but the point is, even in chapter 10, the Black Mafia, where I talk about the Al-Mafir clan that went from Yemen to Egypt. The point is, I'm drawing this into a bigger universal understanding for everyone, because I'm tired of the division. I'm tired of being the only one that can go around this group, that group, that group, and everybody say, they don't like me over there. They don't like me over there. I'm tired of it, bro. And I'm tired of feeling like because I got a little knowledge of self that I can't go around this person, that person that I'm trying to save. And I want to say something else too. The truth is, bro, you're going so hard, you're basically saying you're going to deny yourself information. You're not willing to admit, hey, you know what? I didn't know about something for this TDK right now. Let me learn something.
Because
I didn't say it was a religious group. I didn't say it was an organization. I didn't say it was a club. It's an actual piece of land bought by a Moor.
Islam.
I got some more lands that's bought by Moors right here in California. And if I'm not mistaken, California is having a big discussion about reparations. So it is relevant to what's going on right now. It is relevant even if you don't agree. It's not about agreeing. You can't even disagree with something if you're unaware of it. You're going too far with the dogma now. You're saying, I don't even want to know.
But
that don't make no
we're
sense.
saying,
You should know about
there can't be no reparations for a
Sacramento that
stateless
started the
people.
AME church that
Only
built all this all
reparations,
around through California. You should know about the Hodge
reparations
family.
need to
You should know about
repair
the
a
Bruce
nation.
family. That
There
got
can
Bruce
be no
Beach right here in LA,
reparations if they're
Manhattan
not
Beach. They got to
claiming
give him $20 million.
Islam, peace wars. Energy is getting crazy.
What I'm saying to the brother is, what I'm saying, excuse me, Greg, what I was saying to the brother is, I was the Moor that was telling you, I came from Crippin as well. West Side 111, original neighborhood Crip that was started by OG Lowdown. I know all about Crippin. But what I'm saying is, I'm not mad at you for meeting the people where they are. Nobody has a problem with that. The issue that we all are saying that our people are failing at is the issue that they keep refuting, the birthright issue. They keep refuting the Moorish knowledge as if it's only from a religious or organization. We're showing the people that this is the one thing that everybody needs, your bloodline. No other nationality has this birthright issue. They might have other issues amongst themselves, but when it comes to knowing who they are, when you say Mexican, you don't see them mixing Mexican up with Christianity or Judaism, or you don't see them mixing Mexican up with orange people or yellow people. They know exactly what you mean when you say Mexican. It's referring to Mexico or landmass. We're trying to get our people back to that mind state. When you say Moor, you're automatically talking about Moorish American, Moroccan. That's Morocco. This is your land. This is your blood. Our people keep talking about that from a third party perspective or from a religious and organization. We're trying to show them that it's not. We're trying to show them that this is the issue that has been forgotten. Your birthright, no matter what you believe, no matter what you are part of, the issue that has been forgotten is your birthright. This is what I'm saying. It don't matter about none of that other stuff. Like, that other stuff is cool. That other stuff is great. If that's what people want to be a part of, nobody is having an issue with that. The issue is our people keep refuting the birthright, which is the issue. Nobody's going to get reparations, which means to repair a nation if they don't claim the nationality, which is a nation. This is what we're saying. And I yield the floor on that. Islam.
When California starts posting articles about restoration as opposed to reparations, then we can talk. There's a major difference in the vocabulary. You got to know what these legal terms mean to understand and understand what's being stated. Again, it could look as if you're getting everything in the universe, but if you don't know the language, it winds up that you're getting the dirty end of the dirty short end of the stick.
And what we realize is that, like you're saying, like Brother Malik saying, that's a certain level where he's talking about, and it might not be including the other brothers on the panel. It'll be for the ones that are listening, the ones who are going to hear this later, right? And Jesus is talking from a certain level of people that are in a certain frequency that he's going to be able to get them. And out of all the ones that he get, it's probably going to be a few that are going to get to this level, that are going to make the jump. So I see that it's great, be it sitting back as an outsider looking in. It's great to see that there's information on all these different levels that's sincere and true, that the people can gravitate to lift themselves, right? If it's being part of what's going on over there and saying, you know what, yeah, we could actually have something, so why not have something? Why not let these people pay us, and they might call it reparations or whatever, but okay, well, when you get it, you better do something with it. Is I think where Malik is going at that. Yeah, we've been doing this thing. Even brother is bringing up all the other towns. Some of them they burned down. Some of them they're still around. They might be barren or whatever like that because nobody's done anything with it, but it's there for the people's usage. It's just the right individuals with the Malik mindset being involved when these conversations start happening. But I don't know if you have anything else to respond to, Brother Crip Jesus. It's going on 2 hours and a bit, so we probably got about 15 minutes.
I'll wrap it up with this.
So
I just want y'all to understand that we can't become dogmatic, especially people with knowledge and wisdom of our stature, just from this conversation. We can't get to a point where it's all about the argument or it's all about proving I'm better than the next. You don't know everything. Like the brother said, I'm from West Side, 111, original neighborhood Crip. Okay, that's cool. But are you going telling your homies, hey, go read the Blue Bible? It talks about Danifu Kareem Bey. Maybe that will help them realize, oh, shit, the dude that helped start us is pushing more science. Maybe I just found some pieces to do what you keep saying. We're trying to show them that this is their birthright regardless, right? I'm telling you, I was one of those hard-headed dudes. What got me to finally come over, even after going to the temple and all that, could care less. What got me to finally flop over was before my grandfather passed, he told me I was Gullah Geechee. When I looked at the Gullah Geechees in the Carolinas, and even though there's Geechees in Georgia and all, we can go into all that, but when I looked them up, they were calling themselves African slaves, my brother. It was thanks to my exposure to some Moorish science that I was able to realize, let me look that a little deeper. And it was due to my grandfather before he passed saying, no, our name's not a slave name. I don't know where they got that from. Such and such and such, the French, woo-woo, Normandy. I was able to look up and I seen, oh, we're real actual Moors. We're actually the Moors they're talking about. Went over to Europe and came across, and I got the blood here too, in the mirror and the blood. Okay, woo. But the point is, though, for the person who hasn't entered this cipher yet, you're gonna have to come with more than just your red hat and what the prophet said, the prophet said, the prophet said. You're gonna have to have a little knowledge under your belt, bro. You're gonna have to have some times and some dates and some stuff to reference. You feel me? When I'm hitting the Crips with this information I'm hitting them with, they're not saying, oh, get out of here, because I'm hitting them with something they haven't been hit with before.
They could relate.
Yeah, and there's only an arrogant person who's going to say, well, I don't care about that. That ain't on my level. It's on level. I've heard that plenty of times before. The same dudes who say that's this level and that level, they're not saying what I'm saying. They don't know what I know. So that's just a deflect. That's to get away from the problem at hand. If we're trying to get the people to stop talking about more in third person, then you need people like me. You need someone who's not just going to talk about gangs, going to talk about the Sundry Moore Act, that's going to know about the years of Henry Turner versus the United States case, that knows about the Moorish Zionist Temple, that knows about Abdul Rahman Ibrahima Ibn Suri, somebody who actually used Moorish science in slavery to appeal to the Sultan.
That's why I said
people like me who know the whole pie, bro.
That's why I said.
Or else we're just going to be running our mouths forever.
That's why I said more. Everything that you saying, I'm in agreement with. The whole point that you keep missing is that I'm not in disagreement with what you saying because I'm on that same level. Me coming from Crip, I meet Crip, Blood, Folk, Vice Lord, Nation of Islam, Masons, everybody. I'm down to talk to everybody, but the issue that's still at hand with everybody, no matter what organization that you're coming from, no matter what belief that you come from, the issue that at hand that I'm pushing is that we have to claim the birthright. No matter what organization that you choose to stay up under, the issue is they have to claim that birthright. Once you know about the birthright, you have to claim that birthright because that's what we're showing. That's what's lacking. Hey, you keep forgetting that we have a nationality too. No, the organization is not going to protect you forever. The street is not going to protect you forever. The gang is not going to protect you forever. It's that birthright, that bloodline that's handed down to you that been forgotten that's going to protect you. We're not disagreeing with no unity from nobody of no organization. We're trying to get them on the level that, hey, no matter what organization you choose to stay up under, that's claim that birthright that's been forgotten, which will fix all of our issues no matter what organization you choose to be up under. That's what I'm saying. And I yield the floor.
Islam. Grand Aki, I think I see what the issue. Okay. And I think Brother Malik had stated it earlier. I'm sorry, Crib Jesus, right? That is Brother Malik. Or
Say again?
Crib Jesus is Brother Malik.
No.
Brother Malik right there with the.
Okay. Gotcha. Islam. Sorry, I can't read it on my phone.
Yeah, that's all. Okay. Yeah.
I'm Brother Rivers L. You know, if you want to put it that way.
Islam, Brother Rivers L. Islam, Imam. You said it earlier when you said, you like going backwards, from where you at current day and then working your way back. Enough. I give thanks for all your good deeds, brother. Okay, right off the bat, I see why Glad Hecky showing you that level of respect before bringing you on to the platform. You get it? Okay.
I appreciate that.
So, and just to let it be known, going through these different entities, organizations, you mentioned many, from the so-called street gangs, which we know they didn't start off as gangs. They started off to help the community. The piece that gets disconnected, which I'm glad that you're definitely expounding on, is that how they got to the point of helping the community was through Moorish science. Because it's that science of Moors that can bring civilization to any group. Hell, we did it to the planet. That's the blood we come from. We take issue, though, with those who are become opportunists or those who condone, even if it's by tacit acquiescence, meaning that you just sit back and let the shenanigans play out for whoever's, thinking that, well, I'm not involved in that, it doesn't affect me. Well, from the so-called street gangs to the other entities around, you've spoken about NOI. Elijah Muhammad was once named or had the appellation of Elijah Pool Bay. Just to let you know, in case you did, I don't know if that's covered in your blue Bible or not, but it is what it is. You don't have to apologize for truth, right? We know the 5%ers We know who started that and where he wound up. Again, out of Moorish side. Why am I bringing this up? All these different entities that I just discussed, that I brought up, that you've been discussing, which is great that you're going there to get the peoples who can hear the truth. One or two things happens. Either goes in one ear, out the other, or it's enough to actually ignite that spark that they already had in their DNA. And that's the part that I give thanks for, because that's truly a good deed. Okay. We don't have to be confrontational or chest puff on the information. But some of us have been on this road a lot longer than 4, 5, 6 years. And we've seen many attempts of the infiltration occur. So I'm going to plainly say it because it needs to be said. All those entities that were discussed in this past 2+ hour demonstration are all directly infiltration examples. That's why when you look at their start dates, you'll never see them be before when the prophet was actually in the flesh. They all came after. And even internally. And I'm not going to thump on the great sellout and yada yada, but we know about Kirkman Bay. So we can't live in the glass house, right? And be chucking stones. But at the same time, you know, fool us once, you already know what that old cliche goes down to. That's what we have to be very, very mindful of. Because so many people have been bitten by it. They've been burnt by it. And that's the intention of the infiltration. You sprowed up an example of a brother that you knew that couldn't read. I'm assuming you helped them to learn how to read, wrote your book, got him to read your book, and there was facts in there that brought him out of the void. I give thanks for that. Because I know man knows not by being told. Till you got that brother to read for himself so he can see it for himself, then it wasn't his information yet. No matter how many people told it, no matter how you write it, whether it's a poetic or just a straight up conversation, you have to do for self. That said, we can't sugarcoat the traitors that walks amongst us, and they're a lot. When we start talking about tribes, you can't show one quote unquote tribal treaty of the over 500 that exist that has been honored by this U.S. corpse. They've all been broken. And I don't care if you're talking about the Siberian descendants or if you're talking about, I don't want to eat, I'm sorry, Cherokee. Well, sorry if you're Arabic, Cherokee. It's about ensuring that any little mouse hole is stuffed up. One man did that already. We already know who that man is. So I understand Some people, whether they're listening or on the panel, what have you, might take offense if they're putting themselves in the position of being one of these traitors. But no one should come to the defense of a proven traitor. We didn't have throughout the Moorish Empire prisons. Why? Because if you broke code, then it was your head. So yeah, one mistake. Don't waste it. If you want to be where you saying you at, good. We need someone there. Be that light. Send them our way. When they're ready. Because you can't go from 0 straight to 100 miles an hour in a blink. We all know you got to crawl before you walk. Then you can run. But why stop there? Let's take it further. Let's fly. Now you can take that how you wish. I'm not trying to poke fun or any of that. I'm not trying to belittle. I'm actually giving you respect because that's hard work to be able to understand a person's life and where they're coming from and what's in their bubble to be that light to help them up. Not everyone can do that, either by lack of skill, lack of knowledge. It's unfortunate, but some for the lack of love. So you're on my radar, and I will be keeping an eye out for you, brother. So keep doing what you got to do. And know that you have Moors that fly ready, at the ready, to support. Question becomes, how sure are you of what you're supporting? Because if you're not too sure, best believe there will be some type of head bumping, some type of confrontation, verbal discussion. But all that can be alleviated simply by giving honors where honors are due. Prophets started, but what the prophets' work started is where we get everything else that we see. Everything. I don't care if you want to talk about modern day Europeans, organizations, and churches, their religions. I don't care if you want to talk about entities, associations that are supposedly for the freeing of the black man. Well, we already know black men don't mean what we think it means. It's a legal status. Same as white. That's why we look at Black's Law Dictionary and look up free white person. And bits like that, where it's not Joe Blow from the street corner, no disrespect to it. But when you can give something that's tangible, as long as the recipient can read for self, you point them in that direction, at that point, you just have to wait for the seed to take hold. So keep doing what you're doing, and Islam to you. I yield. Peace.
Peace. Islam brother Rivers, you have any closing remarks?
Yeah. like I was saying, just I just wish, like I wanted to say this. My mission is to, I don't know the right word I should say, but like I said, I feel like we evangelize our truth. You know, and my whole goal and mission is to do something that I experienced up on meeting people from the temple before I even went to a temple. Is I heard a lot about, you know, the black man. I heard a lot about the Moor. Like I said, the first person who teased me about what the word Moorish was my own father when I was a kid. So I can't go off of everybody saying it wasn't to the prophet. I heard about this and I looked up laws of it before, but it wasn't until I met people from this organization that showed me U.S.-Morocco Treaty of Friendship. That don't matter what, no disrespect, that don't matter what Brother Isbay, Malik Yusuf Bey, or even Cujo say with that. That's a fact. That's historical. Boom. Right? It wasn't until I met people from the temple, and this wasn't in the temple. I want to say this too. It wasn't in the temple that they said, we're about to talk about the U.S.-Morocco Treaty today. No. But it was from this organization. So all I'm saying is let's just take the, you know, the blinders off. You feel me? Hey, we're going to keep the prophet up front, but we're also not going to say, well, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. That's why I respect Cujo so much. Put it all on the table. Because if you don't, you can get the other effect too. And we're not going to act like, you know, we haven't talked about this the whole time, about how many people left the temple. Because as more information comes out, what's this? What's that? What's that? If you just keep it simple and keep it straight up, it's never ending. Like I said, the Moorish Zionist Temple by Mordecai Herman, the Edward Wilmot Blighty, the Heroes of Henry Turner versus United States case, the Sundry Moors Act, the Abdul Rahman Ibrahim Ibn Sori Act. These are all things that have to be discussed more. I'm not just talking about gangs. I'm just so amazing to everybody because I can talk about all that and gangs. So get your copy. That's all I got to say.
And then as you said that too, just to remind the Moors that you could go get the Brother Kush Dej joint that's out. The pre-orders going on right now. Hit it in plain sight. The Parable of the Moorish Sardine. So look out for this one. It's going to be another good one for the archives. Islam, Brother Malik, you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, Islam, Grand Sheik. Islam to the more, you know what I'm saying, that's coming from his perspective on teaching people like we doing one and the same. That's why I said I'm not in disagreement with what he's doing. It's because we doing one and the same. It's just that when people try to like push the prophet's work aside or as if it's like little, as if all these organizations or all these people after that didn't start their stuff off of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali left. This is why we show people the legal and lawful documents, the House Joint Resolutions, where they might try to shun us or resist us, but they honor the prophet, they honor the movement. What it is, they looking at so many of our people that sell out amongst us, and the people that don't know, and the people that refute the information that won't claim the birthright. Once more of our people collectively unite by claiming their birthright, whether we friends or not, once they collectively claim the birthright, then the nation will be restored and it will be repaired. They will see the changes that the people were trying to see. The issue is not going out reaching the people on no level. This is what we all have to do. Like, talk to anybody on any level, people in what they call law enforcement. Well, I say legal policy enforcement. Or whatever, like we talk to anybody, but it's if your intentions is not getting the people to claim the birthright, that's the issue. Or if you trying to trick them and set buying a package only, that's the issue that the more like us are having with the people. Like, we don't care about what organization or what belief system you have. The only issue that we have is our people claiming that nationality and birthright, which will restore everybody rights at once. You know what I'm saying? That's the issue that we have. So, on that note, with me leaving out, honor to the Moor that's doing what he's doing, honors to all the Moors, honors supreme, honors to the Prophet Noble Dry Lee, all the cosmic brothers, and everybody that's out here, you know what I'm saying, standing for the truth and the facts on
Islam.
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 Islam, brother, is you good? Anything to close out with?
I'm good. Give thanks to you, Grand Hecky, for bringing the brother on, letting us know about the Blue Bible. That's something that I probably would have not known of without this demonstration. So give thanks.
Islam,
And
peace and
honor
love
the
to all the
Prophet.
Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors. Happy holy day. You already know it's all love. Honors to the brother Rivers L. Oh, I see you more. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, I see you, brother Sheldon. One sec. Let me get the link. Man, up lit, boy. man, up lit. Catch a nap today or something, right? Yeah, there's the link, boy. Just push it. Yeah, don't forget the equinox. Don't forget the equinox.
And I want to thank y'all too, because I must admit, a lot of people just go off the name alone, just like, nah, we ain't rocking with that. A lot of our people are very religious in their way of thinking. So I want to thank y'all for even the respect.
No problem, Mark. Islam, brother Sheldon.
Islam Moors, Islam brother Crip, Jesus,
Islam
brother Malik, brother GMH, and Cujo. Yo, just want to say, I was listening to the conversation tonight and wanted to just add something really, really quick. Just in dealing with regards to what I'm dealing with out here. So for some of you that don't know, and some of you that do know, that I'm out here at Germany, and out here there's a bunch of Asiatics from the U.S. As well as, well, North America, I'd say, as well as a couple of Al-Kibalanians that are pushing the narrative that Moor is derogatory and racist. And I actually had a conversation with a brother out here, amalgamated, and his pops is from Al-Kibalan and his mother's German. And it was interesting because I showed him the treaty, Peace and Friendship, and he commented on, his comment was like, well, who wrote the treaty? And I'm thinking, like, are you serious? Like, are you joking with that question? So he's like, who wrote the treaty? Because his whole thing is that Moors is, it's negative. So I showed him that, and I showed him the Hieroglyphics Dictionary, High Priest of Anu, and his mindset was still going with what came afterwards. So I kept pushing it. It's like the original meaning predates Proto-Greek by 1,000 years. So how could you take the newer meaning as what it is? And even the newer meaning just meant dark-skinned people. It's only in the last, say, 200 years, 150, I would say, years, where it became derogatory and negative for some people out here, you know. And he was saying that he sees the name Moor and nigger as the same thing. And so even with presenting this information, especially like to me, the two trump cards that can't be disputed are the treaty and the hieroglyphics dictionary. If you want to say the hieroglyphics dictionary is by E.A. Swallow-Shabudge and he's a Shriner or whatever, okay, disregard that. We can take what the Maori people of New Zealand, in their language, Maori means life force and spiritual essence. Mauri. So we can take that. That still predates Proto-Greek by 800 years. So to me, it's the treaty and something from, 3000 BC, to me, that trumps everything else. But even with that information, it was still rejected. And so I say that to say, it seems as though the only way change is going to be made is if we Asiatics from North America build up so much as Moors that the rest of the, and we've been talking about, we've talked about this for years, the rest of the world will follow, because the media and stuff is so powerful, and it seems as though everything from North America, once it radiates out, then change, then everybody starts to follow suit. More started with being indigenous, and then now all of a sudden it's everywhere, right? And so I just say to say that, and I've said it before, we should always be, every time we represent online or anytime we're seeing, we got to be in habit, and we got to rep this for and it's not even, I don't like saying repping it, because it seems as though it's something that we latch onto. We have to be it to the fullest, because if I can show, it was actually blew my mind. If I can show somebody out here the treaty and the dictionary and they still reject that, then you know what I mean? Like, what else could you do? Really, what else can you do? The only thing that you can do.
Then you give them the blue Bible.
So yeah, for real.
And so, that'll get them.
I don't know, because it was just fascinating to have that conversation, and it was so, like, I actually turned into you, Cujo. I was just, I was like, stop the BS, like, you playing game. And that's not me, you know what I mean? I know, like, stop the BS, man. Like, are you serious? Are you being dumb? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was just it was just really fascinating. And it's a group of, like, it's a serious, like, it's a major thing out here, supposedly, right? It's like a group of them. And yeah, so I mean, if you can't convince people, like I said, with the treaty and the dictionary and etymology and everything like that, then, you know what I mean, I guess the blue Bible must be another way. And to me, it's just really being this to the fullest. I even put him onto the master teacher Moors, and he refused to even go check them out. He would rather go with, like, we spoke about hidden colors and all that, and Tariq Nasheed and so on. And you mentioning what Tariq Nasheed said. I said, yo, there are Moors that live this for more than 30 years. and all the stuff that you're saying hasn't been done, they've done it. I gave him the name. I said, just go check them out. They're online and everything. And he refused. So all that to say, it really is on us. That's the way I look at it. And we have to just really be it to the fullest. So just wanted to say that. Peace and love to y'all.
Islam, more give thanks.
Yeah, Islam.
Can I respond to that? Not
Absolutely.
respond like it's an argument, but
Absolutely.
like add on.
Islam, more good, bro.
I've come across that a lot too, right? Where the people looks in the past and says, well, all I see is slavery. And all I hear about is the boat named Jesus. Now I hear you, but it's you the first motherfucker I heard say that, or you the second, right? And I found that this is just me being on the scientific level, trying to find different things and going through the streets. And I have look, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. I'm not here to hide nothing. My name is Crip Jesus, not by mistake. So I was in the streets. I don't make damn near no money now. You know what I'm saying? I'm broke as I ever been. So this is all for, you know what I mean, the mission. And when I go through the streets trying out different, as we call it in the nation, high explosives to see what the people react to, I have found that there are people like he's saying, right, that have so much a lack of self-esteem and such a bad self-image that they will not accept an example unless it's this one example I found. I'm not saying this would have magically worked for him, but I found people like him and say, I don't want to hear the master teacher. I don't care. Hidden colors. We're niggers. So what? We're Negro. I found what they want to see is they want to actually see a slave. They want to see somebody that fits the whole little narrative they've been fed, an African slave using this. And what I found is the story of Abdul Rahman Ibrahim Ibn Suri floors them every time, because this is a dude who was enslaved for 40 years and used the treaty to appeal to the Sultan. And while everybody might go with that and say, oh, well, it was Africa. No. After he used the treaty and gained his status, he wasn't freed. He's not a citizen. You get what I'm saying? He gained his status back as a noble, and he was a prince. So he was literally a noble, right? And he was able to use this treaty to not only get himself out of the status of slave, but also to appeal, pay a price to get his wife out. And he actually traveled through North America in Moorish garb, teaching and trying to raise, I believe it was $10,000 he needed for his children and his grandchildren. The point I'm saying is that may not have magically woke him up, but I have found in my experience people like that just need to hear that narrative with it. Give them the hears of Henry Turner versus U.S. Give them the Sundry Moors Act, where 50 years after the Negro Act, some people came and appealed and said, oh, we're with the Sultan. You can't treat us like them. You know what I mean? This is what I mean by not evangelizing our history. We have real history. What floors me is the fact that you can't find one person that identifies as black that don't want to give it up for Mansa Musa. They'll take the Mansa Musa. They'll take the Mansa Musa all day. But Mansa Musa's a Moor. Right. So I usually start somewhere around there with those type. Or even with the ones that want to go with Cherokee so much. Ramadan Ibn Wati or Saladin Ibn Wati. I just find ways to draw a bridge, and it doesn't always work. But it's so much of this science that goes outside of where we seem to have our conflicts at. I'll say that.
Yeah. It was enlightening to
because even Tariq Nasheed, when he says that foundational Black American, he loses me with that. This is more of the division and by way of ignorance.
Yeah. Islam, brother, give thanks again for being here. Appreciate the build. I see brother Iz had to go, but he said Islam to all the Moors. Peace, brother Malik. Peace, brother Sheldon. We'll
Peace and
connect on
love,
Sunday.
Lord.
Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam.
This is what it feels like. 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 People running up to me that I don't know. Are you a prince? They ask, tell them I'm from Morocco. Look me up and down with a smile, not a frown. Turn their brain to water, watch the lower self drown. Wanna touch my antennas and steal my energy. Eyes bulge, telling them I'm always King Edward V. When it comes to facts with Moors, they get beggarly. They ask Morocco where? The farthest northwesterly. With every question asked, I respond cleverly. All dependents won't explain expertly. Going in their wallets, pull out pictures with feathers, breaking down the ring, then the mason confesses. He's at 33 degrees, now the convo stretches like yoga into esoteric metaphysic lessons. When my people aren't like me, he impresses. When we take Moorish science to the highways and hedges. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
They tried to get you to think again. That's the prophet. I'm upright, don't need a friend. And you can't stop this. I'ma write with my pen. Violate me and I'ma sentence again. Remain cautious, cause often it's in again. That's in the police out, just the silence men. When they bust through your door, you won't breathe again. Nationality will show you how to live again. It can change the predicament you're living in. You can heal the whole world without medicine. Only truth can make you a better man. Why lie? Cause you got paid to murder men. Then you try to lock them up when they riot in. That's okay, cause for freedom I'm diving in. With no knowledge you come back to die again. Resurrect me not, cause I'd rather be one with Allah.
This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.